Hello, hi. So, I am back to talk about episode 8 of The Magicians. Since I'm playing catch up, we're doing back to backs. So, same shirt, same day, it's happening. But I wanted to talk about episode 8 because one, zombie fungus. So I was right in my prediction that the Dark King is not the big bad. The Dark King is a big bad, and I don't even know if he's a big bad. He's just a thing that they're going to have to overcome. But the big bad is whatever is connected to that plant that was on that sheet that Alice had that she got from Q's desk. So that's the thing, and that whoever's looking for that is the big bad. So we'll see how that goes, which is interesting as they're dealing with kind of all of these potential world enders, that they come across this thing that looks like it could be like a world creator, in that it is a fungus that can be planted anywhere where you need, I guess, greenery or plants or something. So I think that's interesting, and the fact that it's coming from Q. So like he's still moving the story forward even while not being with us physically. So I think that's also nifty. But it was very interesting. Wonderful seeing the zombies. I was kind of pleased that they didn't go so aggressively into the leaning of the zombies. I was kind of glad that didn't happen, because that would have been a lot. But kind of seeing Alice's grief and how her grief is showing up, and how the new botanist, with the new botany professor, and her looks like May is going to be someone that is in her life, whether they are friends or become friends. Maybe he can help her through it. Maybe he can, give her some guidance and support, because Alice never really had a bunch of friends before. She's always been kind of in the books, not really big on socializing until she started, kind of got all mixed up with them, and now like she has this whole community of folks, and it's kind of cool. But this will be a time for her to have someone to lean on who understands what she's going through in her loss of Q, but didn't lose him as well. And so the support won't be clouded by his own grief over the same person. Because that's what I think that, they all are kind of grappling with. They're trying to deal with their grief over losing the same person. So everyone is grieving in their own way. And, it can be kind of hard to support people through grief when you're also grieving that person in your own relationship with that person. So I think it is cool that she has someone to kind of be there for her and kind of help her through some of those murky times. But yeah, this was an interesting episode. Julia with child, Penny's child. And so I'm wondering, because, she had been with child previously, and it was a whole terrible situation, and it led to her being very much having to deal with, depression and the emotional kind of loss of that situation. And so now I know that they broke up, but it's like, I don't know that she would not want to have their child, especially since she's already talking about the bearing, or not the bearing, but the carrying of the child. And they're in Red Monkey Month in Fillory. So I'm wondering by next episode how pregnant she will be. Like, is she gonna do a full-on pop where she's like fully showing, baby's fully in there? It's not just, a clump of cells. It's like more of that. I'm curious to see how that's gonna go. And then you have, but she is in Fillory with Finn, and Finn and her losing her child. So there could be a solve that is kind of jacked up for Penny. But yeah, there could very well be a solve where she could literally go to Fillory on this quest, have a child, leave the child with Finn, come back and be the kid's aunt or something, or she like goes back and forth between our world and Fillory and sees the child but isn't known as the child's mom. That would be, I don't know, I'm kind of spitballing, but that, who knows, that could happen. But it's been, yeah, it's kind of interesting. Now, one of the things that as I was thinking, like, I'm glad that when they dealt with the spores, that they, in their research, they knew that when they, cured the one guy of the spores with the potion, that the spores were going to go somewhere else. And it went into Penny. So it's like, that's what I expect when they do these spells and kind of do these plans and create these plans that they then have to execute by virtue of magic or subterfuge or whatever it is. Like, all the research was done, like nothing, all of the nuances were thought through in the reading. And so it's always interesting when something happens, like with the moon and a couple of episode 5, and I'm looking for the name of the thing because I can never remember the name of the thing with the moon, but like how they didn't seem to know that there might still be consequences after they move the moon and then put it back. So it was nice to see things kind of come full circle in this episode where they realized kind of how the fungus was moving and how to essentially control it. But this does feel like a kind of an unresolved potential issue where, they have now spread the fungus among a bunch of the students, but like what happens if we get into like a hive mind situation where something connects them and then they all act in one accord as one consciousness, like, and then Penny will be in there. So it's like, hopefully, and I don't think this will happen because they tend to be kind of short-sighted with solutions, where like something will happen, there'll be a problem, they'll solve it, but the solve will be kind of loose, and then it may, where it could possibly kind of come back around and cause problems, but like they move forward like it's solved, because I feel like that is something that should be maybe considered, especially knowing that there's this couple who was coming to look for the plant pages and was very powerful, and knowing that there's probably others that are going to be equally, if not more powerful, that are going to be looking for the pages. And so maybe they need to figure out a way to give themselves the best hope of making it through. So we will see what happens there. But yeah, I did notice that was like a loose end. I could not think of that. A loose end that wasn't tidily put in a bow. So we will see. And of course, now we also have Psycho Fog, who is still in the clean room, but becoming more and more pissed and angry and threatening to turn them into lobsters and eat them. Like, that's some old supervillain type of craziness, but type of stuff where, I'm going to, do this thing to you and destroy you, but it's like kind of silly. Like, you gotta turn me into lobsters and eat us? Like, there's nothing, okay. But he's essentially stewing in his thoughts and creativity about how he's going to enact his revenge should he get out. And he still wants to take Breakbills with him because of his daughter on Timeline 17. So that is also potentially, that's a loose end that could become a problem. Because Fog, I mean, he's not just Dean because he's been there for a long time. Like, he has power. So yeah, I think that's going to be a potential challenge. But I'm interested to see what this big bad is going to be. And I find it interesting that the big bad is, and so honestly, I wonder if, because there's sometimes like an Earth big bad and there's a Fillory big bad. I wonder if there is a Fillory big bad, because now that we've seen, they tried to kill the Dark King, it didn't work, but obviously when he has these conversations with Elliot, there's something that's like it's something that he has to do. Like, he's doing this thing with the takers and summoning them, but it's not necessarily because he's like wanting to do that and that makes him feel like that's controlling his power. It feels like something that he has been cursed to do or agreed to do or has to do because of his immortality. Like, something else is missing. So again, I stand by the fact that Dark King is not a big bad. The Dark King is just a thing that they're going to have to deal with while also dealing with the big bad, because, you know, all the magicians, when the hits come, they just keep coming, and it's not like they just have like one thing that goes awry that they have to handle. It's like multiple things that they have to handle in quick succession, and at some point I need them to take a vacation, because it is always something. It is unfortunate that Josh and Margot, you know, as a result of the potion and Elliot and Margot switching bodies, that Josh and Margot are kind of on the outs. But I have a feeling that something's gonna come around there. Not sure what, and it may not even be this season. Like, it may be something that happens in the next season, because now Josh and Margot are no longer kind of a thing as they were. We have Elliot and Margot back, which they are the dynamic duo, and I love the fact that they are like besties, but like their friendship is like, it goes above and beyond, you know. It's like they are friends, but they're more than friends, but they're not dating. It's like a very deep, involved kind of connection and bond that they have. And so it's cool that is coming back. So we will see what happens in episode 9. So we have 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 5 more episodes to go. Maybe 4. Math is my strong suit. And but I'm interested to see how this season's going to end. We're right in the thick of it. So things are only going to get worse before they get better, as is what happens with the magicians. So I did enjoy episode 8 of season 5, and now I am looking forward to chatting about episode 9 of season 5 of The Magicians.